Absolutely.
Now, let's go ahead and get into our next topic here because this is an exciting one. We probably won't spend much time here, but we got some big news. Remedy and Rockstar have announced Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes. Oh, so I will say that we have noticed a trend here in the last couple years of remake after remake after remake. However, when the remake is a game that respectfully needs it and the devs and the publishers are hitting the right remakes, you can't be mad. Like SpongeBob Rehydrated, money grab. We didn't need that. Like no one asked for it. It came, whatever. It's a free game on PlayStation Plus. If you want it, go get it. Eh. Um, Remedy and Rockstar again announcing Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes in Remedy's engine. Whew. Like I don't know how many of you guys have seen anything that Remedy's done, but if you've played Control, wow, Control is still one of the best looking games on PS4, one of the best looking games on PS5. The ray tracing in it is amazing. And then with that as well, they also gave us Quantum Break, which is still one of the best games on best looking games rather on the Xbox One S and X specifically. Um, that's a big deal. Perry, do you have? I know you are a little younger, but do you have any experience or any memories of Max Payne?
Of course I do. I'll be. Max Payne was like in the era of San Andreas, so I do remember Max Payne. I remember it a lot. So I'm excited. It's one of those games, like you said, that needs it, like KOTOR.
Yeah. So I do want to hop into our chat for a minute. Mike Hennessy 23 says, "I hope that it does not look like the GTA series." Um, I assure you that it will not. So the difference here is a remaster is usually going to be a reskin and upres to make games look new and better. Um, versus a remake is exactly as stated, a remake. So when you see Final Fantasy VII remake and how they pretty much made that a new game with more or less the story of Final Fantasy VII, new gameplay and all that, that's exactly what we're getting here is a remake. So we're talking modern graphics, modern gameplay mechanics, modern everything. Um, and then again, testament to that again, and I think it might be on Game Pass, or at least it was. If you're curious at all on what you can expect from this game aesthetically, go YouTube after this show because we want your views. Okay, but go YouTube Control Remedies Control. You can look at the PC if you want to see what that max settings look like on ray tracing, but that'll give you an idea of what we should be looking at, and that will tell you that these games are going to look absolutely gorgeous. Or maybe it's one game. What do you think, Perry? Do you think this is going to be like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 vibe where they just combine the first and second game? Because in hindsight, I know those games were really short, maybe like 8 to 12 hours each. Or do you think they are gonna make those as separate games?
They need to go ahead. My personal opinion is go ahead and put them together, like a Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Do the package deal. Don't do them separately. Let them enjoy this game together, because it's a remake, and with everything new that's coming out from new developing and things of that nature, repackage remake games. If they had a series, go ahead and allow these games to come in package deals. Sarah, if there's
Oh,
any series or games that I want remade,
go ahead and answer. Give our answer, Perry. He's going to speak for both of us here because I know where he's going. And it's
oh,
already rumored to come. We're just waiting for it.
oh, which one are we talking about? Anything of Snake? Yes, that, yes, anything of him. But like outside of our conjoined one, Onimusha 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
I
like,
would settle for a remaster on those because they are. Well, I guess technically Animusha 1 did get a remaster, right?
yeah, it did. Because you can play that on 4.
Yeah. So I would definitely settle for remasters, but I would be over the hills about remakes. And then R Savage as well. Devil May Cry series, yes. However, you can play Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, and 4 all on last gen. So probably not likely. But under the remaster, most of those games still look pretty good. So if that's something that you're itching for, definitely swing by the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, and go check those out because those are available. And Devil May Cry 3 is probably still one of the hardest games that's not a Souls game. Um, let's see here,
I
but
agree upon that.
yeah, but I mean, other than Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3,
I say Persona
what?
series.
I mean, I
Not
ca-
just like bring it with more up to date graphics because like all those games are just beautiful. Like
yeah.
all of them.
Hmm. I'm sitting here thinking, what would I want to have a full on remaster of, or remake rather? Not a again. Remember, a remaster is just a res of graphics in most
Mm.
cases. A remake is again kind of like what they did with Shadow Colossus. They remade the game with current graphics, which
Demon
we need a
Souls.
PS5 patch of, by the way. God, we need a PS5 patch
Absolutely.
for Shadow of Colossus.
Demon Souls.
Um,
Like
yeah, Demon Souls is another
perfect.
PS5 remake.
That was a beautifully
Um,
remade game. Like beautifully done. Like if you compare the PS3 to the PS5 version, night and day.
yeah. You know, what I'm going to say is, and this will probably be unpopular, but it's one of my favorite Final Fantasy titles. I'm going to say Final Fantasy 9
I can see
or
that.
Final Fantasy 10. I would absolutely adore
Where's Kyle?
either of those games getting a current graphics update as a remake. Not 8 because 8 is a freaking fever dream. Like it's really bizarre and it's good in its own right, but I don't want that stuff. Give me 9 or 10, and
I can
I'll
respect.
be super happy.
I can respect that.
Um, and then also we can get. I know a lot of people hate them just as we're there, and I'm going to stand in that Final Fantasy bag. But give us PS5 ports, or at least PS4 ports that have benefits for next gen for Xbox Series X and 5. Final Fantasy 13, 13 2, and I guess we can throw in Lightning Returns for the hell of it. Yeah, I need all of that.
No,
We need
no,
a
we don't.
remaster
No, we don't. Leave that
of
headache in
lot.
the trash. Not
We
even
did
in
get a
trash.
remaster. They did release a Disney re-release of Aladdin for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, because they were like separate games. And then The Lion King, they actually released those. You should be able to find those now. I think on Nintendo Switch as well. So you might want to hit the Nintendo eShop and check it out because those should be out there. And Lion King is more difficult than you remember it because you were a better game when you were a 7-year old. Yeah. Um. So let's get into some fun here. Um. Our next topic, unless you had anything else you wanted to throw out in the realm of remakes here, Perry.
Um, no, there's pretty much like I'm enjoying a lot of new games that are coming out, and I enjoy the games I had growing up. It's like for me, in my last take on remake games, it's like allow me to enjoy the movies I grew up with. I don't need a remake on those. Allow them to be great for where it was remastered. Because the take of what that movie was great. Like I don't like Boys in the Hood. I don't need a remake for that. Menace to Society. I don't need a remake for that. I like or a continuation. Like I'm good for what it was. It was perfect for that time frame. I'm
Yeah.
good. That's pretty much, and I enjoy the new stuff. I enjoy the new ideas because I want to be able, my kids to be like, I grew up on this, and this was phenomenal, and this was something from my childhood that was great.
Yeah. And definitely, because you did say Menace to Society. There is a unofficial Menace to Society sequel out there. It is actually a song by Papoose. It is told through the lens of Anthony, who was Jada Pinkett's son in the movie. He grows up and kind of has his own experiences in the same hood that took Kane out. Spoilers for like a 30-year-old movie, but yeah. So if you are curious, go check it out because it's actually a pretty awesome piece of music there. And then just a few more comments here. What's y'all opinions on games such as Def Jam, Fight for New York, and Bloody
So
Roar
I
getting remastered?
so let me say something about fighting games. Let me say
Yeah, yeah,
something about
yeah.
fighting games. Maximilian has made a great, phenomenal point as of recently. Fighting games need a free game to play.
Yeah.
They need to go
Um,
ahead and give us that free game, free fighting game to play to download, just like a Rogue Company or like a Fortnite. That would be phenomenal. Um, my opinions on Def Jam, great game for where it was in that time frame. Def Jam and Fight for New York, like both those first two, phenomenal. Bloody War, great. Phenomenal looking games, great aesthetics, great everything. Like if I had a choice to have a fighting game remade, it would be Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
mm,
Marvel, no, I'm sorry.
I'm even gonna get started on Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I need a remake of Def Jam Fight for New York. That would be great.
Mhm.
What's another one that I really enjoyed?
Old school fighters. I would like to see a remaster and I forget because Capcom crossover sometimes do the weird thing like they did Street Fighter cross Tekken, and then there was supposed to be the Tekken cross Street Fighter,
Yeah.
but the superior version, I think it was Capcom versus SNK. If we could get one of those remade, that would be awesome. So there are lots, like fighting games are one of those weird ones because essentially a lot of those games being based in sprite animations still look gorgeous today. So what we need a full on remake? Probably not. I would love to see like a high definition remake of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I'm sure that animation would be highly expensive, so we would probably never get it, considering they have to pay for the licensing as well.
Right.
Um,
I,
but definitely, like if we can just get those games even as they are, I would be happy to have those on current gen.
Absolutely, and yes, Art Savage. I will have to say this: fighting games is in a weird place right now. A very weird place. And what I mean by that is fighting games don't last past a month and some change unless you're dedicated.
Yeah, it's weird.
And you need to make it more interesting. But without the aspect of diminishing the competitive aspect and making it easier, making it more welcoming, of course, and more interactive, give us a more in-depth storyline. Say what you want about NetherRealm fighting games, no matter what, you're going to get a pretty damn good story all the
Damn right.
time. Injustice, great. Mortal Kombat, always been great.
Hmm.
But when you look at the competitive aspect, they die out quickly. And then you still have legends in the game that play heavy in the circuit.
Well, so this is the weird thing though. It's funny you bring up story modes in fighting games because that is part of the problem here. Now, are story modes needed in fighting games? Not necessarily.
No,
Because in my opinion, they create a bit of a problem, but there is a good reason for why they're there. Because story modes in fighting games attract newcomers. But the problem with it is, when you go into the story mode, the newcomers come in, they get through the story mode, they get familiar with some of the characters, some of their move sets. Great. But what happens from that point is story modes usually don't teach you much in the way of game mechanics. They're just there to kind of woo in those newcomers. So what eventually happens is once they go and they beat Omega Shao Kahn 35, 65, fifth to the square power, um, they get ready to hop into online play because they feel that they are ready. People like me and Perry ignore the story mode unless it's necessary to unlock the characters, which
We go
I hate when they do that. I hate
Dragon
that
Ball
so much.
Fighters when I had to get
Yeah,
Android
I think
20.
I think I ended up just paying for Android 20 because, gosh, here, just take my $3. I don't want to play 15-hour story mode just to. Anyway, but anyway, those guys get through the story mode. They think that they are ready for online, and then they run into people like us. And when I say people like us, me and Perry, I wouldn't say are anywhere near professional tier, but we are within, I would say, modestly, top tier intermediate players.
Yeah, so
And
especially in a game that we love and that we spend hours like MKX and Dragon Ball until we fight people like Frank, and then we sit there like absolutely like we go hard with the dojo sessions, and then we wait. We're like the wall for people who want to go that extra mile and hit sweaty level, for sure. Cause
yeah,
I don't play story mode in fighting games. I go directly to tutorial. I break down each character that I enjoy. I find one that fits me, and then I spend at least. It took me what, RAM off of Guilty Gear Strive. It took me like 7 to 8 hours to just find combos that fit and were comfortable to memorize within like the.
oh, our Savage is James. Thanks for stopping by, James. I had no idea that was you. But Random Savage, yeah, our Savage. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming by.
Oh,
Sorry, Perry. Please continue.
oh, most definitely. So that's us for sure.
Yeah. So keep the story modes in, but put some mechanic training into those games because they'll run into people like us and they will get wrecked, and then they will quit the game, and then before you know it, you have your tryhards, your intermediate players, and your professionals are the only ones playing, and that's why the player base drops off so fast because those story modes woo you in with a false sense of security, and then you go online, you run into people, and then you get wrecked for a couple days, and then those are usually people that say, "Oh, this guy probably lives in his mom's basement and doesn't have a life," and then they just go play something else.
Right. And then like for me on the competitive side for like esports, make fighting games great again where dojo sessions aren't needed, and like
Absolutely.
when people combos are like, oh, that's a Daigo combo or that's a Tokido combo, not, oh, we know what combo's coming up next because everyone labbed this off of YouTube. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you had a Justin Wong combo, where he had what, Storm, Magneto, and I think Captain America combo. I knew Storm was heavy with him, but I could be
Yeah,
wrong. I will ask Derek about that one,
yeah.
but
And the cool thing about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that game is what 20 plus years old, and people are still finding combinations, uh, and not even just like actual like combos, but also team combinations that have unfound synergy today. That speaks to the depth of that game. It also speaks to how broken it is as well. But
right.
you've got 60 something characters in the game. Yeah, it's probably going to be a little broken.
Please make
So,
JoJo's broken.
whatever.
Please make JoJo's broken.
To a certain degree, it can be broken to where it's fun, but don't make it completely broken. Um, so yeah, shout out to R Savage who tricked us into talking about fighting games. We could talk about fighting games all day, but we have children that need to be fed. So we will move to
And
the next topic.
and naps that need to be taken.
Yes, naps that need to be taken as well.